and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where there is plenty going on because we are just days away from the Classico Copa del Rey final, which is going to be absolutely incredible. And also, guys, do not forget here, it's not that long until we face Inter in the Champions League. And that is why here today, we're going to be talking about all of those things. We are going to be building up to the weekend's game against Real Madrid and talking about Inter too. It is all on the way for you. Get ready and let's do this. But before we do get into all of that good stuff, guys, I would just like to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you because we have achieved here on the channel 600,000 subscribers here. And I've got some great super thanks from Anaya, from Avjit being with me all the way. Absolutely incredible. And Book of Revelations, congratulations on 600k. It really, really does mean a lot to me here, guys. Your support is absolutely unbelievable. And this is what it's all about. I think at the start of the season, these are the kinds of games, these are the kinds of moments that we dream about. This is what the channel was always supposed to be. All of us here together, all of us getting excited and experiencing these massive games. And that is why I cannot wait. That is why I am so excited here for the coming days. And I hope we're all going to be loving it together. And let's start then by talking about the Champions League. Because yeah, guys, next week, the first leg is here. It is not long now until we will be playing against Inter. And don't forget, the first leg is at home. And I think it's going to be such an important game there to set the tone. I actually don't mind playing the first leg at home. It used to be, oh, you want the second leg at home. You want to be coming back in that second leg to your own stadium. But I don't mind playing at home. In the way that we did against Dortmund, for example, we did the job there. You know, we have to start this tie very, very quickly. Get that momentum with us. And I have to say, I am feeling confident right now, and it's not overconfident, it's not arrogance here, I'm not writing Inter off by any means, but I do believe they are starting to struggle this season, because on Sunday, we spoke about it on the channel, they lost to Bologna. It was a late goal, it was an unfortunate one for them, and that was a massive slip-up in terms of the title race. That really brought Napoli back into it there, and you could have given Inter maybe a bit of forgiveness, because it was only a few days after their second leg against Bayern, so you could understand them maybe losing that game. But I think then you look at last night, the way they played against their bitter rivals, don't forget, AC Milan, Coppa Italia semi-final, second leg, 1-1 on aggregate, everything to play for, and Inter were flat. Inter were completely and utterly lethargic in that game. They gave nothing. You know, I watched so much of that match yesterday. I was trying to flip between the two there, looking at what Real Madrid were doing, but mainly I watched Inter. And they were awful. Genuinely, guys. 3-0 defeat there against AC Milan, who, let's face it, haven't been brilliant this season. They really have arrived here in some of the cup competitions, but Milan have not been that great. They made Inter look very, very ordinary. They were first to every ball. They finished their chances well. They got in behind Inter on so many occasions. And that is the first time this season that Inter have lost back-to-back games. But not only that, it's also the first time this season they haven't scored in back-to-back games. And right now, look at their season. A minute ago, they were looking at the treble. They were excited about the league. They're in the cup as well. They got the Champions League. Suddenly now, the cup is gone. The league is incredibly tight there. There is massive pressure for them on the Champions League. And this season, suddenly their incredible campaign, it's in huge danger. And I thought it was really interesting, actually, after that game last night there, that defeat for Inter, to listen to the words of Inzaghi, because he openly said, I am worried. Of course I'm worried. He said, we're not used to losing 2 games in a row. We've got to analyse both of those defeats in the right way. He did admit tonight we ran out of energy in the second half. There is both physical and mental fatigue. And of course, at Barca, we've spoken a lot about the fixtures. So many games there. Even our players have suffered, of course, with fatigue too. But Inzaghi openly admitting there that his team is running out of energy, physically, mentally suffering. And I think you look at it right here. Huge game for them against Roma on Sunday. That is the final game they will play before the first leg against Barca. So already, we have 1 day extra rest than they do. And that is also a must-win for them. They can't afford to take their foot off the pedal. They can't afford to rest and rotate players. Neither can we against Real. But it's going to be fascinating to see how Inter respond, how Inter look on the weekend, because they have had a very, very poor past 2 games. But indeed, guys, if we do cross back here to the job in hand, because yeah, we do not have an easy game this weekend either. I mean, even if we have made the past 2 Clásicos this season look quite easy, I don't imagine it will be in a cup final there. Real Madrid are going to give it absolutely everything, and the reason for that is because it may well be their best chance of a trophy this season. Real Madrid are still back in the league, they are out of the Champions League. The Copa del Rey is genuinely their best opportunity. Now, can I just say, looking at their game last night, and again, we had 1 day extra rest on Real Madrid. They played on Wednesday night, and I've got to say, Getafe are the very last team that I would want to play ahead of a big game. Because you know what you're going to get from Getafe? Every single team knows they are incredibly physical, they cross the line, they really do go above and beyond what really should be allowed in football, and Real Madrid did find it tough. Now, in the end, of course, they escaped with a win, just about again by a 0-0, but they did not escape without injury problems there, because one of the players who's a real doubt now for Saturday is David Alaba. He was subbed off against Getafe with muscle discomfort. He's had a bit of an injury-hit season, and to be honest, even when Alaba has played, he has not been convincing at all there. Certainly in the Champions League, he came undone for Real Madrid, and right now he is a doubt for Saturday's final against Barca, but he is expected to travel to Sevilla. He could still feature in the game if he's able to make a good recovery in the next day or so. So we're going to have to wait and see there whether Alaba will be fit. But the man who replaced him is a much bigger concern for Real Madrid, because Eduardo Camavinga, he's done. He is out, not only of this game against Barca, but for the rest of the season there, even the Club World Cup, because he actually tore last night his adductor tendon. His season is completely done, and I think he's a big miss for Real. I really do. I think looking at the game on Saturday, he's an important player in these kinds of matches there, because he can do so many different things. You know, he can play in different roles, he can give you a lot of energy there, he can get you up the field, and I think Real Madrid really will miss Camavinga when he has been fit, which again, it's been an injury-hit season for him, but when he has been fit, he's been a very good player for them. But what about Kylian Mbappe? Because obviously, guys, he was suspended in the league match recently against Athletic Club. Now, I have to say again here, I still find it unbelievable that Mbappe was only banned for a game. After that tackle against Alaves, 1 match, that's all he got there, a 1-game suspension. I mean, sure, he nearly broke somebody's leg, but I mean, I guess in La Liga's eyes, at least he didn't do something really crazy, like touch his nose. I mean, are those the kind of rules that we are basing things around these days? I don't know, but how was Mbappe only banned for a game? But yeah, he missed the game yesterday with a bit of discomfort as well, and he is now expected to return on Saturday. He will be fit to face Barca, and I think it's a big game for Mbappe. I still think he's still got so much to prove in a Real Madrid shirt. You know, he hasn't really done anything of note yet. He hasn't really convinced their fans at all, and I think there's massive pressure on Mbappe against Barca on Saturday. But of course, guys, along with all of that there, we do have one big injury concern of our own, and of course it all revolves around Alejandro Balde, and I think we really have missed him over the past few games, and I think it also illustrates here how important he has been for us this season. He's been growing, he's been improving there, gone to another level under Hansi Flick's leadership, and we really have missed him at left back, and not only defensively there, but going forward too. He can really help Rafinha on that left side, he can really open things up and push teams back, and I really do miss him. Now, all week long, he's been training individually back on the field there, so he hasn't quite been training with his teammates, but he has been doing some work on the field and with the ball, and certainly working his way back into things. But I think looking at this cup final, it doesn't seem right now like he's going to be risked for it. It doesn't seem as though Barca are going to really push him to be ready against Real Madrid, because in their mind, I think they're looking at the Inter game. I think in Barca's mind, as much as this game against Madrid, it's big, it's a cup final, we want to win, of course we do, but the Champions League is the priority. We are not here going to risk rushing Balde back for Saturday and then him having some sort of relapse and then he's out of both legs against Inter. Then he's out of a potential Champions League final. We don't want to go down that road. So I think Balde here, he is not going to be risked as of right now against Real Madrid. We are hoping to have him back for the first leg against Inter. That would be huge. That would be absolutely massive there for that first leg to have Balde back. And I think that is why on Saturday right now, we are still looking at Gerard Martin being the starting left back against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final, and that would explain too why he was effectively rested against Mallorca there in midweek. We sort of kept him safely on the bench to be ready for this game, and that is going to be a big call. That is going to be a big area that could well decide this game. You know, we have to really be at our maximum in all areas here against Real Madrid. And guys, how are you feeling right now ahead of Saturday? What are your thoughts there on some of the things that are going around right now? The potential lineups, all the latest team news, and how the teams are feeling heading into this fixture. Are you feeling confident? Do you feel as though we will get the job done? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course tomorrow, coming up for you, it's the full match preview. Get ready for it, guys. And I will see you then. Thank you for all of the incredible support and for 600k subscribers. But until next time, as always, Vejka, El Barça.